By my in die ateljee is Grace Harding, uitvoerende hoof van Ocean Basket en nou ook die president van die nuutgestigte The Restaurant Collective. Grace, welcome back to Winslang.
Thank you.
The Restaurant Collective, what is it that you guys want to do?
So we set it up towards the end of April, and we really got it going because we felt that the sit-down restaurant industry was feeling very fragmented. I think if you look at the big fast food brands, most of the brands are really huge and they're very well organized. And we just felt that it would be of value to all of us if we got together and started to look at everything from immediate needs during COVID times, but also to set it up for the future of uplifting and upgrading the industry.
Let's talk about small restaurants. I've got my own restaurant. Can I join the collective? And if so, what value would I get from joining such a movement?
Yeah. So the Restaurant Collective is for every restaurant, and I think mainly for independents, because that's where do you go for support? And a lot of the groups, bigger groups or smaller groups, we've got a big infrastructure. But what we are learning is by engaging with all sorts of sit-down restaurants, the level of information that we are receiving is amazing. So what do you get? Look, we've only been going 5 minutes now, and I think what we are providing people who join us is, for now, a lot of support, a lot of information. We've held a webinar just to talk about UIF, why aren't people getting paid, because there's lots of weird rumors that run around. Helping people prepare to reopen, talking about menus. So for now, it's really about sticking together to get back on our feet.
It's an industry that's gotten a lot of flack for not being professional enough. Do you think that that's a big problem with the industry at the moment?
The sit-down restaurant industry, you know, the word professional is interesting. I think that because it's not easy to access one voice that can share articulate and frequent news, it gives the perception of unprofessional. I think that there are incredible restaurants out there who've been around for years and years and years with very little support from a place. I mean, where do you go to start a restaurant and know what licenses do you need and how to cost out a menu and why you shouldn't have 4 waiters standing around on a Monday morning? So it's probably perception, you know, because of the fragmentation, and we want to really add value to that.
So I think if I look at COVID and my own business, the difficult part is, or the important part was to understand that if the whole value chain doesn't work together during the crisis, then that's when we'll actually fail. And a big part of this is landlords. Do they deserve the flack that they are currently getting, that they are not responsive to the needs of independent players? And don't you think that they are the problem for the industry to survive?
There's lots of problems. I think some of the problems we create ourselves as restaurateurs, but what you are saying about the value chain is critical, and because they take such a portion of our income, they are in the spotlight. I think we have to be very careful not to find one horse to whip, because this week it's the landlords, and last week it was the aggregators, and it's going to be the day of the franchisors as well. Yeah. So I think our experience is that we want to approach things in a way that we listen to each other and we understand each other's businesses. Do we have to bend their arms and twist their knees? Absolutely, but we must do it with each other. And I think that to just be more curious about each other's difficulties, you know, they've got huge loans. We just got to work harder together, and yes, no one's had to, so maybe that's the gift of COVID.
Absolutely. Grace, I want to have a quick look at a clip of when you were in the studio in 2016. Let's have a quick look.
Ocean Basket started in a time where people were saying, oh gosh, you know, are you sure you want to be here? Because some people were putting bully beef in their pantry and doing all sorts of weird things. So we don't believe in saying, well, oh, the market is difficult. The world is difficult. I think the world is difficult for everybody. And it's all about forcing adaptation. And one thing that this economy is teaching us, and yes, it's not always fun, and I don't always look this cheerful, but it's teaching us to be adaptable.
I want to refer back to that, adaptability. If I'm a restaurant in COVID, what makes me a really good adaptable business?
I think, like any business, you've got to be quite elastic. So what is COVID going to bring about? I think it's going to force us to be more efficient. It's going to force us to do more with less. And like any tough times, for some reason, humans only think harder and look for new ways when they're in trouble. So I don't know, we have to stay in trouble. We can't become comfortable.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. Ocean Basket was born in very difficult times. The interest rate was 25% and things were wild. And here we are back in wilder times.
I think we're all wondering, when are we going to open up? That's the big question. It's more, and I think the answer is to say, let's open up well. Let's make sure that we prepare it. Now, you've got an opening week and you've got opening training. Tell us about what is it that you want to do with that.
We don't know when we're going to open. You know, we could get a week's notice. We could get 2 weeks' notice. So we've already prepared all the training. We had to prepare it anyway. The Restaurant Collective also was co-founded by Natasha of Tasha's. So we're going to be working with her trainers as well. And we're going to be putting it online. So the way it's probably going to work is the minute it's announced that we can open whenever that is, you're going to have to go online as a sit-down restaurant, register, and then complete the online sort of information training thing, write a test, and then you'll receive your certificate to be able to trade.
Yeah. I want to ask you about the support that government is giving you at the moment and your engagements with government. So it's interesting to see that certain pockets are really responsive. Are you experiencing the same from your interactions with them?
So we work with TBCSA, Tourism Business Council, and FEDHASA, and we represent the sit-down restaurant community. So I'm certainly not having tea with Cyril yet.
Yes.
We find that the support and the drive from the Department of Tourism with their DGs and their advisors has been incredible, and they've guided us, and it feels like a true partnership where they are saying, we don't know sit-down restaurants as well as we know perhaps the hotel industry, and they're definitely very collaborative. They take our calls, and it's working really well.
That's great news. Grace, thanks so much for your time.
Pleasure.
Restaurante is natuurlijk een van die groot verkopers van alcohol. Terwyl ons hart baklei om sake te hervat, Glimlag Brouwerye soos SAP hierdie week breed met die dat bierverkope hervat is. Ons neem 'n kort advertensiebreek en gesels net hierna met die bemarkingsdirekteur Von Kruser oor dit wat die afgelope paar maande in hierdie bedryf gebeur het. Bly net waar jy is.